Marky Greenthumb here. I'm going to start trying to do my videos like this, where I give a little introduction, and then you guys can see what I created afterwards. There's a guy I watch a lot on the Y-Files, AJ and Hecklefish, and they kind of do that. He gets on there and he kind of gives an explanation. And I'm doing the weed files, so it makes sense, you know. Kind of, I don't want to mirror him too much. I don't want to steal from him or anything like that. But I just like the way he does stuff. A personal conversation, a real person. I'm obviously not an AI doing this right now, but it is getting pretty close to where you can make them do stuff, but you can't tell apart. So, anyhow, and I use AI. All the creators use AI now to make our stuff look cooler and appealing, and all that noise, and express ourselves in ways that we really can't without it. So, I hope you enjoy this video. This one's going to be about the prohibition of marijuana in Kansas and how Kansas can legalize and make a crap ton of money. And it also goes for other states too. Any other state that wants to use this as a blueprint. Absolutely no one should be in jail for any amount of marijuana whatsoever. There's a lot of these businesses, of course, that are looking like Apple stores. And we've got stock market trading going on. And if that's the case, why do we have people in jail over it? Anyhow, please enjoy the movie or the show, and leave a comment down at the bottom. Tell me how I'm doing. If you like my content, don't like my content, see ways I can improve, or just want to talk and comment on the specific subject I got going on that day. I'm going to be doing cartoons and stuff. I got the whole Marky Greenthumb character, and I got Joint Man and Puffy J coming. We got some clothing and apparel coming with that too. I got a website coming. We've got an app that we're downloading to help with growing your indoor plant decor for your living room or hotel space or what have you. So, yeah. Anyhow, this one is a marijuana advocacy video for the state of Kansas, Iowa, Texas. If you guys want to use this too, you know, there's any state actually that's got any sort of punishment for any amount of marijuana. You should probably watch this. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Like and subscribe, all that good noise. Share, Kansas folks. If you really enjoy the video, share it to some of your leaders, because I think they could use some ideas on how to tackle this subject. I got some good ideas. Love y'all. Have a great day.
In 2012, Colorado opened its doors to opportunity, while Kansas chose to close its own. For over a decade, we've observed a wealth transfer happening right across the state line. The impact isn't just on the money leaving our state, it's about the money spent inefficiently at home. Colorado leveraged its tax revenue to build schools and fix roads, while Kansas poured millions into sustaining prohibitive measures. We're losing billions in potential retail sales and bearing hidden costs like court fees and law enforcement efforts focused on possession charges. Essentially, it's a double-sided deficit, a fiscal imbalance that grows with each passing year. Instead of nurturing our economy, we've transformed our citizens into tourists seeking value across state borders. We haven't stopped the plant. We've merely halted our own profit and progress. Over 14 years, we've lost our competitive edge. If this scenario were akin to a corporation, any board exhibiting such fiscal negligence would have been replaced long ago. It's time we address the ongoing financial bleed. Since 2012, an invisible pipeline has been siphoning funds from Kansas citizens directly into the Colorado State Treasury. Over the past 14 years, while our neighbors in Colorado constructed a multi-billion-dollar cannabis industry, Kansas has stubbornly directed its resources towards enforcement instead of infrastructure, leading to lost revenue, lost jobs, and wasted time. The math is clear. Prohibition has become the most costly policy in our state's history. Imagine this. Every dollar consumed by a defense attorney to fight a marijuana possession charge is another dollar withheld from Kansas classrooms. For over a decade, Kansas taxpayers have shouldered the cost of a legal system that penalizes its citizens for actions that are perfectly legal just a few miles away. Effectively, we're subsidizing our own decline. It's time for Kansas to shift its focus from the courtroom to the boardroom, bringing those billions back home. Shaping a bright future for the next generation requires making intelligent, scalable decisions today. Although we cannot rewrite the past decade, we can dictate the narrative of the next one, advocating for economic sense and halting the drain on our community's potential. Let's talk about the numbers. Kansas hasn't stopped its citizens from using cannabis. All that's changed is the recipient of their tax dollars. For over 10 years, Kansas has been losing millions to Colorado's infrastructure, schools, and reserves. The plant didn't stay out of Kansas, only the revenue did. But financial losses are just part of the issue. While Colorado has profited with a multi-billion-dollar industry, Kansas taxpayers have shouldered the cost of a costly legal apparatus. We've paid for law enforcement, justice, and defense systems targeting actions perfectly legal right next door. This isn't just losing a tax base, it's blowing up the budget to manage the loss. In a corporate analogy, Kansas's decision-makers might have been ousted long ago for such fiscal short-sightedness. Prosperity won't come from wasting resources on outdated laws. The real advocacy here is about economic resilience, smart governance, and halting a financial hemorrhage of 14 years. It's high time we recapture our resources right here in Kansas. 14 years of tax revenues trekking past our borders while we absorb enforcement costs at home. Let's manage Kansas like a thriving business and put an end to the drain. Decriminalization alone could lead to a financial renaissance without immediate legalization. Nobody should be incarcerated over cannabis. It's time for Kansas to profit from its policies. I want to repeat that. Absolutely no one should be incarcerated for any amount of cannabis. Then, of course, comes the question, but Marky, how do we do this? How exactly do we move forward? Our leaders should embody a perfect division of labor. We need a visionary who can connect with the community, integrate agriculture, and harness the raw communication that inspires voters. Beyond that, we require a team for data aggregation, risk assessment modeling, economic forecasting, and legal drafting. Our policies must be airtight, impenetrable to critics, and streamlined for efficient implementation. Yet many in the Kansas government merely see stoners wanting to get high. Our unified goal is simple: stop capital flight, restore personal freedom, and cultivate a thriving, self-sustaining Kansas economy centered around marijuana. We must chart a roadmap from prohibition to free market. Transitioning from a fully illegal state to an open market requires a precise step-by-step plan to avoid market crashes or regulatory missteps. This approach will protect Kansas from external market exploitation and ensure a successful transition where others have failed. Most people don't realize how easy it is for foreign nationals to enter the market. They often start as vape, smoke, or glass shops in small towns, gaining licenses and profiting from local communities. We need to be vigilant on all fronts. Let's step onto a path of transformation with Phase 1, immediate decriminalization, aptly named the emergency brake. In our pursuit of building a thriving industry, we cannot continue to incarcerate potential members of our workforce and consumer base. On day one, we're taking decisive action through an executive directive, shifting the priorities of state law enforcement. The first action: reducing state-level penalties for simple possession to a mere civil infraction, akin to a traffic ticket, with a goal of ultimately reaching zero penalties. This initiative not only saves taxpayer dollars by cutting the budget for prosecuting minor possession, but redirects valuable law enforcement hours and court resources towards community safety and infrastructure instead. We're also streamlining the process of expunging past nonviolent possession offenses, reinstating thousands of Kansans into the active and eligible workforce. Implementing Phase 1 immediately requires prompt action that doesn't wait for lengthy legislative debates. By taking executive authority, we stop the unnecessary drain on both taxpayer funds and human potential. By anchoring our approach on fiscal conservatism and labor market gains, we turn every potential criticism into validation, ensuring the success of the emergency brake. Today, we're not just discussing a legislative change with the Workforce Restoration Act. We're embarking on a mission to correct past injustices, made possible by our current digital record system. This system seamlessly tracks past nonviolent possession convictions, allowing us to implement an automated expungement process. Instead of burdening citizens with the need for costly legal assistance and complex court procedures, our state-level automation script will efficiently identify and seal eligible records. Overnight, this transformative act will restore thousands of skilled workers to full participation in our tax base, providing them access to corporate jobs, commercial licenses, and housing. This isn't just a legislative piece, it's a resolution to a generational ordeal. Today, we acknowledge the human cost of the state's previous approach. Imagine a family during a quiet Kansas night, abruptly shattered by a tactical raid over nonviolent charges. The trauma, incurred costs, and family separations were the brutal realities many faced due to now legal substances in neighboring states. The Workforce Restoration Act represents more than digital alteration. It's rectifying the undue hardship brought upon countless families. As we unveil this act, we illuminate not just the administrative necessity, but the moral imperative to pull the emergency brake on past failures and forge a path towards justice and restoration together. The prison trap, from nonviolent to hardened drama. The old guard loves to pretend that a low-level possession sentence is just a slap on the wrist or a quiet stay in a minimum security facility. But the reality inside those walls is vastly different, turning minor infractions into life-altering nightmares. Imagine a young Kansan caught transporting a small supply across the state line, trying to clear a debt. They enter the prison system as a completely nonviolent individual. But our correctional facilities are high-pressure cookers of violence and internal politics. To survive, they must choose a side, run errands for gangs, or defend themselves with improvised weapons. A minor, nonviolent possession charge becomes a fight for survival. One altercation in the chow hall to defend their life, and suddenly they're hit with more charges: assault, weapon possession, conspiracy. They went in for a plant and leave a decade later, hardened by the very system meant to rehabilitate them. It's evident, we owe the people automated expungement as restitution, not a gift. The legal system should no longer be a trap, but a path to true reform and reintegration. We must seal records instantly to restore families and futures. Before we open the retail floodgates, we have to build the supply chain right here on Kansas soil. We're committed to empowering Kansas farmers, not relying on out-of-state imports. Imagine a new era of agriculture where Kansas leads the charge in cultivation and innovation. Our first step is establishing a robust medical cannabis framework, focusing heavily on enhancing patient access. This is crucial for our veterans, chronic pain sufferers, and those burdened by severe medical conditions. We plan to issue craft cultivation licenses with a low barrier to entry. This will prioritize local small business owners, traditional farmers looking to diversify, and boutique indoor operations to build a resilient grow network. Implementing a transparent and decentralized tracking system is key. This system ensures product quality, safety, and lab-tested consistency without over-regulating our growers, putting trust in technology. Central to our strategy is social equity licensing, or restorative justice commerce. By prioritizing individuals with past cannabis convictions for initial business licenses, we're not just issuing permits, we're executing targeted economic reinvestment. To ensure this operation's success, we've devised 3 mechanisms: the equity priority window, tiered fee waivers and financial offsets, and the state incubator program. These frameworks aim to provide equitable access and support a flourishing industry here in Kansas. This brings us to our comprehensive look into the transformative approach of social equity licensing. Before major corporations can even think about entering the market, our equity priority window, also known as the first look queue, opens an exclusive application period. For 90 to 180 days, only applicants meeting specific social equity criteria can apply. This strategic window offers local entrepreneurs, particularly those historically affected by enforcement, a vital head start to secure locations, develop infrastructure, and build brand loyalty before competition intensifies. We tackle traditional financial barriers by offering tiered fee waivers and financial offsets. Applicants who have past nonviolent cannabis convictions, records we are sealing under the Workforce Restoration Act, are offered substantial financial relief. Their application fees are waived totally, and their annual licensing fees are discounted by 75% to 90% for up to 5 years, providing a robust foundation for their ventures. Our state incubator program ensures new equity licensees aren't overwhelmed by the challenges of operating in this industry. We offer invaluable training in compliance, supply chain logistics, and inventory management by pairing them with experienced professionals. Additionally, our market distribution simulator allows you to explore various policy adjustments, see how these measures reshape market ownership, and retain wealth in communities previously marginalized by old policies. Talking about building a new future for Kansas with our Phase 2 Medical and Agricultural Infrastructure Plan. Phase 1 was about stopping the bleeding, but now, in Phase 2, it's time to pour the concrete and build the fortress. If we rush to legalize and open the doors without a strong, homegrown infrastructure, out-of-state mega corporations, what I call the Walmarts of weed, will flood in. They'll buy up land, bring their own teams, and siphon profits out of Kansas. To stop this, we must make our plan aggressively Kansas first. Let's discuss how to build this supply chain the Kansas way, ensuring our people own the industry from soil to shelf. We aren't just growing plants, we're growing a new sector. We need Kansans at every operation tier. Our medical vanguard is key. By establishing a state-sponsored continuing medical education program, we'll train local medical professionals about the endocannabinoid system, ensuring veterans and seniors consult Kansas doctors familiar with locally grown profiles. Cultivation and retail demand discipline. Kansans can manage retail operations seamlessly, from inventory control to team leadership, without needing external experts. Finally, transitioning traditional farmers into high-margin craft cannabis and legitimizing boutique growers is essential. This ensures Kansas agriculture thrives in the new era, with our people leading the way. Today, we stand at a pivotal moment in redefining what a drug dealer was perceived as in the state of Kansas. When addressing this topic, it is crucial to speak truthfully about the realities that many traditional politicians have chosen to ignore. For numerous years, the finest agricultural experts weren't confined to corporate offices. Instead, they were industrious individuals managing a few lights in their basements, funding their children's futures, maintaining household needs, and contributing to their community through an entirely nonviolent, victimless trade. These individuals lived in constant fear, wary that a simple traffic stop or a complaint could rip them from their families and take away their freedom. Such conditions were both unjust and unsustainable. To correct these wrongs, we propose the Legacy Transition Initiative. The goal is not merely to pardon past actions, but to harness the unique expertise these individuals possess to benefit the future of Kansas agriculture. Our task is to present this societal shift transparently to the public and offer a clear path for those emerging from the shadows. This initiative will shine a light on their invaluable contributions and bring an end to an era of fear. We need to make the state see the massive economic engine that's currently running untaxed and unprotected. Consider the master growers, parents who have spent years perfecting genetics, managing intricate hydroponic systems, and running complex HVAC setups. Under a new administration, they no longer have to hide. Instead, they move from basements to zoned commercial craft grow facilities. They establish LLCs, open business bank accounts, and take pride in their names displayed on storefronts of legal enterprises. Formerly known as traffickers, these individuals transform into logistics coordinators. The person who nervously drove from the border to Wichita, fearing police lights, turns their expertise into a licensed, bonded, and insured secure transport company, trading burner phones for fleet management systems. The trimmers, once paid under the table, now receive W-2s and benefits. Legitimizing boutique grows means official employment, Social Security contributions, and health insurance. Trust is our biggest hurdle. Why would underground growers declare their operations? A safe harbor period allows them to come forward for 12 months, transitioning to legal craft licenses with immunity from prosecution, focusing on future growth. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're addressing the heart of economic sense and community safety in Kansas. The opposition may argue that we're rewarding criminals, but let's talk pure economics. For years, our state has spent millions chasing down nonviolent farmers, only resulting in broken homes and depleted state funds. By legitimizing these legacy operators, we're pulling millions in cash out of floor safes and shoeboxes directly into local banks. We're transforming undocumented labor into payroll taxes that support our roads and schools, trading secrecy for safety and compliance. These are the people who built Kansas's cannabis culture. It's time we hand them the keys to the industry they created, waiting for Washington, D.C. To act on the Safer Banking Act isn't an option. The big banks are terrified of cannabis money. Without giving these operators a safe place for their finances, we set them up for failure. Introducing the Kansas Agricultural and Legacy Credit Union, a state-chartered, closed-loop financial institution, constructed by Kansas for Kansas. It takes untraceable, unsafe cash off the streets onto a state-audited digital ledger. This isn't just a bank, it's a public safety initiative for peace of mind, security, and dependable tax revenues for our future. Today, we're redefining financial dignity for those who have long operated in the shadows. Imagine a legacy grower confidently walking into a bank, looking the teller in the eye, and depositing their earnings from a successful harvest without the fear of the DEA freezing their assets. This is the new reality. For our trimmers, extractors, and logistics drivers, the introduction of direct deposit represents a significant change. No more reliance on cash transactions. Finally, they have access to standard banking services. Homeownership, once a distant dream, becomes tangible as incomes are banked and verified through our credit unions. Our master growers, who have rented for years, can now secure mortgages and buy homes for their families. Furthermore, equity applicants have the opportunity to expand their businesses with low-interest loans from our credit unions, eliminating the need for loan sharks or predatory financiers. This is just part of the comprehensive system we're building, a unique, Kansas-focused financial ecosystem that excludes federal payment processors, enabling state-only transactions. We've put a moat around our industry, safeguarding our people's money and ensuring sustainable growth for the future. This brings the Phase 2 of our journey toward financial sovereignty for the Kansas cannabis community to a pause and on to Phase 3. Welcome to Phase 3, full adult use recreational sales. With a well-established local cultivation network from Phase 2, we are now setting the stage for a transformative economic boom by opening our market to full adult use recreational cannabis sales. Our strategic move will effectively close the border drain to neighboring states like Colorado, Oklahoma, and Missouri. The action. In this phase, we will legalize retail dispensaries, consumption lounges, and promote cannabis tourism. This is not just a step forward, but a leap into a new era of economic growth and safety. The economic influx. By implementing a fair, flat tax rate on retail cannabis sales, we ensure that the legal market remains cheaper and safer than the illicit one. This strategic taxation will boost state revenue while protecting our consumers. Capital allocation. What's more, 100% of the state's cannabis tax revenue will be safeguarded by law to support Kansans. This will be used to lower local property and income taxes, and importantly, to rebuild infrastructure in our rural public schools. Phase 3 is not just about legalization, it's about reinvestment in our communities and securing a brighter future for Kansas. We aren't talking about simply reducing property taxes by a fraction of a percent. We are advocating for absolute abolition, a move towards true land ownership, and transforming Kansas public schools into the nation's gold standard. Let's discuss our path to deliver the final blow to outdated practices and secure Kansas's future. This is the Phase 3 Manifesto, the Kansas Land and Legacy Act. When we take the stage to announce Phase 3, we will do so by emphasizing the American dream, ownership, and opportunity. Here's our pitch to voters. Kansans have been misled for generations. You could spend a lifetime paying off a mortgage and obtaining a deed, only to find that missing a few county assessor payments can cost you your home. You aren't a landowner. You're renting your own land from the government. That stops now. Our first pillar, the zero property tax guarantee. We will safeguard 100% of the state's adult-use cannabis tax revenue into the Land and Legacy Trust, ensuring it is untouchable by politicians for unrelated projects. This trust will solely cover property tax levies for primary homeowners and family farmers. By capturing the billions that once left Kansas towards Colorado, we will relieve the property tax burden completely. Once your mortgage is paid, it's over. There will be no threats of losing your home to unpaid taxes. Under our plan, the Kansas cannabis industry funds this shift, allowing senior citizens the peace of retiring in homes they cherish without fear of taxation. With the property tax burden covered, the overflow of the Land and Legacy Trust is directed exclusively to our second pillar, our children. We have decided that we will no longer stand by and watch our rural communities dry up. We refuse to let our kids practice on dirt tracks and play in gymnasiums with leaking roofs while neighboring states create palaces with the tax money we provided them. If we're building a multi-billion-dollar agricultural empire, then our children deserve to reap the rewards. State-of-the-art academics. It's more than just having new textbooks. We are establishing agricultural tech labs, robotics centers, and coding academies in every rural school district. A child from a town of 500 will have access to the same elite tech as a kid attending a private prep school on the coast. Elite sports programs. Sports are the heartbeat of Kansas towns. Friday night lights and winter basketball bind our communities together. We're funding these programs to greatness. Every high school will have professional-grade, all-weather turf fields. We'll build state-of-the-art indoor training facilities, elite weight rooms, and dedicated sports medicine and physical therapy clinics within public schools. Parents will no longer need to pay exorbitant pay-to-play fees or supply uniforms. The state will cover the gear, travel, and the finest coaching staff in the Midwest. This is a knockout argument against the opposition. When critics try to fearmonger about the dangers of recreational marijuana, we don't play defense. We go on the offensive. Our opponents want to keep this state in the dark ages. They prefer to keep taxing you out of your homes, funneling your hard-earned money over to Colorado, Oklahoma, or Missouri. Under their plan, you keep paying property taxes indefinitely while our schools deteriorate. But our new plan? It brings legacy growers out of the shadows and sends cartel border runners packing. The resulting multi-billion-dollar economy can pay off your house and build your kid $1 million stadium. The choice isn't about cannabis or no cannabis. It's about whether you continue renting your life from the government or finally take ownership of it. It's time to make the smart choice and invest in our future. The evolution of cannabis regulation is a vision that fundamentally reimagines the role of government in our industry. This is Phase 4. Government step back, the point where our initiative stands apart from the rest of the nation. Today, most states are entangled in an inefficient web of cannabis control boards. These bureaucratic structures remain permanently in place, sucking resources and stifling growth. Our mission is clear. Let's phase the government out of the process altogether. Imagine cannabis transitioning from a tightly regulated special substance to a commonplace agricultural commodity, like wheat, corn, or even industrial hemp. This means dissolving those convoluted state retail and cultivation licenses. In other words, if you can legally grow tomatoes or open a bakery in Kansas, you should be free to cultivate this plant or start a shop under typical business guidelines. Ultimately, the market regulates itself, driven by consumer choice and independent lab standards, anchored by basic business law. The state's role? Simple consumer safety verification, allowing the people, the entrepreneurs of our state, to reap the rewards of a true free market. Together, we can transition from an overbearing regulatory regime to a flourishing agricultural hub that honors both taxpayer value and personal liberty. We didn't fight for a decade to get the government out of our jail cells, just to invite them into our greenhouses. We didn't tear down the prison walls just to build a labyrinth of red tape. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a moment to reflect on the history of this great state of Kansas. A state built by determined farmers who mastered the art of working the soil, reading the skies, and producing bountiful crops. Now ask yourselves, when was the last time you had to fork over $100,000 for a special license just to grow jalapenos? When was the last time a bureaucratic team in Topeka dictated how many acres of corn you could plant? Never, and that's precisely the approach we're adopting for this plant. In Phase 4, we're breaking the chains of artificial monopolies. We're abolishing these special control boards once and for all. It's time for cannabis to shed its label as some government-controlled taboo and take its place among Kansas's robust agricultural output. If you've got the land, the knowledge, and the passion to cultivate it, you have the right to prosper from it. Simple as that. And to those who underestimate your intelligence, the old politicians who think you need constant supervision, wake up! In our vision for Kansas, consumer choice and hard science are the true regulators. The state's role shrinks to just one, verifying independent labs to ensure safety. If your product passes, the government steps aside. Quality is king. The people will make their choices. It's time to let the free market reign. Let me share a truth with you that old politicians have long neglected. They presume you're too naive to make your own decisions, insisting that a legion of state inspectors guide your hand. But we have a different perspective. In the final state, we embrace a radical concept. The market regulates itself through the invincible forces of consumer choice and hard science. Here, state government serves a modest yet crucial purpose, verifying independent labs. That's their sole duty. These labs guarantee that our products remain clean, free from pesticides, and safe for...
Marky Greenthumb here. I'm going to start trying to do my videos like this, where I give a little introduction, and then you guys can see what I created afterwards. There's a guy I watch a lot on the Y-Files, AJ, and Hecklefish. And they kind of do that. He gets on there and he kind of gives an explanation. And I'm doing the weed files, so it makes sense. You know, kind of. I don't want to mirror him too much. I don't want to steal from him or anything like that. But I just like the way he does stuff. The personal conversation, a real person. I'm obviously not an AI doing this right now, but it is getting pretty close to where you can make them do stuff, but you can't tell apart. So, anyhow. And I do. I use AI. All the creators use AI now to make our stuff look cooler and appealing and all that noise and express ourselves in ways that we really can't without it. So I hope you enjoy this video. This one's going to be about the prohibition of marijuana in Kansas and how Kansas can legalize and make a crap ton of money. And it also goes for other states too. Any other state that wants to use this as a blueprint. Absolutely no one should be in jail for any amount of marijuana whatsoever. There's a lot of these businesses, of course, that are looking like Apple stores, and we've got stock market trading going on. And if that's the case, why do we have people in jail over it? Anyhow, please enjoy the movie or the show, and leave a comment down at the bottom. Tell me how I'm doing. If you like my content, don't like my content, see ways I can improve, or just want to talk and comment on the specific subject I got going on that day. I'm going to be doing cartoons and stuff. I got the whole Marky Greenthumb character, and I got Joint Man and Puffy J coming. We got some clothing and apparel coming with that too. I got a website coming. We've got an app that we're downloading to help with growing your indoor plant decor for your living room or hotel space or what have you. So, yeah. Anyhow, this one is a marijuana advocacy video for the state of Kansas, Iowa, Texas. If you guys want to use this too, you know, there's any state actually that's got any sort of punishment for any amount of marijuana. You should probably watch this. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Like and subscribe, all that good noise. Share, Kansas folks. If you really enjoy the video, share it to some of your leaders, because I think they could use some ideas on how to tackle this subject. I got some good ideas. Love y'all. Have a great day.
For consumption. Once safety is confirmed, the government steps entirely aside. In this arena, if a legacy cultivator produces the finest, frost-kissed trichome-rich flower, success will follow, driven by consumer demand. Conversely, If a massive corporate farm dishes out dry, uninspired products, it will fade into obscurity as consumers reject mediocrity. No longer do we require politicians to dictate the market's favorites. Instead, the free market becomes the ultimate decider. In this battlefield of quality and choice, you, the people, will lead the charge for innovation and excellence. It marks a pivotal shift towards a brighter, more prosperous future. This is the endgame, Kansas. We are taking the power, the profits, and the freedom, and we are handing it permanently back to the people who truly deserve it. Imagine a state where the legacy growers are the new titans of industry, where millions of dollars, once seized by the state, now rest securely in your state-chartered credit union accounts. A Kansas where property taxes become mere relics of the past. Picture your children playing on million-dollar turf fields under the gleaming Friday night lights. The days of bureaucratic interference are over. The government is now so far removed from our daily lives, it's almost forgotten. We aren't merely legalizing a plant. We are unleashing the absolute maximum potential of the Kansas economy. And what's most extraordinary, we're achieving this monumental feat on our own terms. Together, let's forge this new era for Kansas, an era marked by freedom, opportunity, and unparalleled prosperity. And this journey that begins in Kansas but doesn't stop there. The most dangerous part for the political establishment is that this isn't just a Kansas solution. This is an open-source blueprint for economic liberation that we are set to export to the entire nation. Across this country, many states remain trapped in the dark ages of Prohibition, draining taxpayers to fund a failed war against their own people. Others are tangled in bureaucratic chains, offering voters partial legalization, yet handing the industry to out-of-state monopolies, all while taxing the working class beneath crushing weights. To those states adhering to outdated practices, it's time to notice Kansas. Our four-phase model offers a clear path. Halt unnecessary arrests, develop local infrastructure, channel revenues towards eliminating property taxes, and unleash the free market's potential. The blueprint is proven, and the numbers tell the story. We are creating a beacon of freedom and agriculture right here in our heartland. When others witness the true essence of liberty, this model will spread like wildfire. Kansas, you are not alone. You are leading a national movement. Every advocate across the states now has the tools to demand better leadership. With history, technology, and vision, we're writing a new narrative that is perfect for any stage, be it a podcast, a campaign, or beyond. Stand with Marky Greenthumb. Like, share, and subscribe to join this revolution.
Dusty wings on the lavender line, working the clock, marking the time. G's in the grave, heading for home, tracing the maps that the wild seeds roam. It's just the earth, it's just the sun, green leaf song when the day is done. Marky Greenthumb, let the garden grow. Everything moves in the quiet and slow. Everything moves in the quiet and slow. Deep in the soil where the chemistry turns, patient fire that quietly burns. A patient fire that quietly burns. Not a criminal, just a friend to the green. The prettiest harvest that's ever been seen. It's just the earth, it's just the sun, A green leaf song when the day is done. Marky Greenthumb, let the garden grow. Everything moves in the quiet and slow.